In this clip, the women talk about times they forgot they had a tampon in and started having intercourse.
This has happened to me twice. The first time it happened, I was about 17 and I had my period and I had put a tampon in and forgot and then put another tampon in and then taken out the second tampon before we had sex, and then I was having sex with my boyfriend for a while before he stopped and said very, gently, it feels like there's something in there. Talk about awkward. And I was like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. And we kept having sex and he was like, no, I really think there's something in there. And like, it's mind-boggling, And then like a horrible, horrible light bulb went off and I was like, oh my God, I need to go to the bathroom. And I was like squatted over the toilet, first with my fingers, and then I could feel it, the string, but it wasn't enough for me to get a purchase on and pull out, so I actually had to go up with tweezers. Very scary, like operation.
And you don't know where exactly?
And I pulled it out and it didn't smell good and I was totally freaked out about some kind of infection, but it turned out okay. Vaginas are very resilient.
The one time I was having sex with my boyfriend, we were together for a couple years, and it was kind of like we were doing it doggy style. It was kind of like, but like standing up, and we were both like, do you feel something weird? Like, does it feel different? And we were both like, yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't think I took my tampon out. Like, because sometimes you do. You put another one in, you forget. And I went to the bathroom, I'm like, I can't feel anything, I don't know, can you look? And he was training to be an EMT, so he's like, all right. And I was bugging out so hard, he's like, you can either keep going berserk and chill out, and I'll take you to the hospital, or you can just chill out and I'll get it out. So I was like, all right, he's like, go get me a spoon. I'm like, I was like, a spoon? I'm like, he's like, well, do you have tongs? Or I'm like, no, you're not using tongs. So he's like, all right, so I'm laying in bed, I'm like, okay, just breathe. And all of a sudden he just pulls it out and just throws it on my stomach. I was like, he's like, here it is. Like, that's what it felt like. I felt like I gave birth. And then I'm in the bathroom, I was like, oh God, thank you. He comes in, he's like, I just saved your life, I was like, I'm like, you actually did.
And you had sex twice with tampon.
Yeah, the second time was less awkward because I was older and because it was with someone I'd been with longer.
You already knew what it was.
But he actually was going down on me and said it smelled funny, which is like every woman's worst sexual awkward nightmare. And I was like, okay, but I knew at this point, like I was over my like vagina smell shame, and I knew that my vagina didn't smell bad, and so that something was probably wrong. Either I have a yeast infection, which I also would kind of know, and so I had a reference for the tampon incident, and I went to the bathroom and started fishing around and ta-da.
Oh my
God.
God.
And I pulled it out, Cherry TV.